I'm actually extremely happy and honored that we are meeting in person, but really we have a really high level panel when it comes to fashion and sustainable fashion.
Giji Gya Obradovic, who is an expert of human rights in the industry, but who also puts things in practice by managing an innovative boutique here in Geneva, whose name is Downtown Uptown. Gigi, Innovation for Sustainable Development, over to you, 30 seconds, go.
I'm coming from an interesting perspective that I worked 20 years on human rights and now I run my own business. I've had 10 years interaction with the consumer. And so the perspective I have, I like to think is quite holistic. And I'm surprised that the fashion industry is still not the front runner of sustainability because everyone wears clothes and shoes. And so it should be. A lot of the campaigns that started in the 90s still haven't managed to make traction. So I'm hoping we're now going to, post-pandemic, come to this and to build on the SDG 9, as we've heard already. I find interesting parallels between the work I've done on human rights and gender insecurity. Gender insecurity in particular was it's difficult to make changes in systems and mentality and cultures. And so it's a bit like that in the fashion industry. And Shein is one. I'll come back to the elephant in the room later on. And to build a slow fashion resilience, we need to be human rights centric, which is already mentioned here. And that goes for all types of industries. So if you're looking, for example, at infrastructure in the big scheme worldwide involves construction and regulation. And don't forget Bangladesh. If the fashion industry is not working with that industry on building construction and regulations, then you're falling down on your sustainability. And then if we're looking at digitalization accessibility, everyone has e-commerce online now. And so you have to look at the factors, what is the sustainability in the digital area and how fashion has interacted with that. And then workers are one of the most important for me because that's the base of everything. And too often it's listed last after climate change. They're bundled into human rights over here, but they're not. Humans, that's us, the people that make our clothes, the people that create the raw materials, the people that voyage it around the world, and us, we are human, we wear fashion. And so I really think we need to be very clear and make it very human rights centric, the dignity in the fashion world to make that sustainable.
And 30 seconds to go.
Oof, okay. So I'm going to jump then to, I'm skipping sustainability because that's a whole other question and needs a lot of debate. The innovation, I'm going to go back to Shein. There was an article on Shein, which is the Chinese fast fashion group, if no one knows, which has gone absolutely crazy. Why is everybody liking Shein when everybody knows its negative aspect on the fashion industry? Very curious article that was published last week is that it's exciting. And so what does excitement make? It builds desire. And as we said about Chloe, you've got to look at that. Why are we not making sustainability in fashion desirable? And there are many facets that we'll go into in my next 2 minutes. Thank you so much.
Very good. Over to you when we reference to the fact that MSMEs represent 90% of business worldwide. What is the role of small and micro enterprising in achieving sustainability? How do you manage sustainability here in Geneva at the local level, at the level of retail, with your retail point? You work with many small companies that are your suppliers. How do you manage that at the level of the retail place? Sorry, I wanted to ask this at the end, but you say so. I ask it now. You have your 4 minutes, and I will shut up now.
No, thank you. I can be quick because my boutique is here in Geneva, so you can come and see it and ask more questions there.
We are all coming after
Exactly. As an SME, a lot of achievement is by consciously choosing our action, our business model, the practice and the consumption. And gasp and horror, profit comes secondary. And I think if all businesses started to look at profit as coming secondary, we are proof, we are a profitable business, rare in the secondhand industry, that it is actually possible if you change your focus. And so what we do is we make our boutique desirable, a bit better than Shein, I hope. And so what we found as our solution is that we do all the hard work of getting the sustainability for the consumer. I'm probably one of the few people here that I interact with my customer every single day, and it's very fatiguing. It is exhausting. It's hard work because people are exigeant. All of us are demanding when it comes to paying out of your pocket for clothes. So what we do is we...
Do they also demand about the origin, the story behind the product?
No. This is a surprising thing. A lot of people don't care, which is astounding. Having worked for a long time in human rights and being in the centre of human rights, even my UN customers don't care.
Really? Wow.
I hate to say it, but this is why sustainability needs to be in the DNA, because it's very hard for a consumer to read all the different labels, understand all the millions of mechanisms we've created. So we do it for them. So we sort of check ourselves for sustainability. So I hope that, we're not greenwashing. And so what we do is we have two aspects. In fact, we have ethical fashion, which is new, small, local brands ethically, and we have secondhand. So now we've moved to a consignment-based model, which we do for both secondhand and for our new products, because it's sustainability within itself, because that means your suppliers, be they actual supply chain, new products, or your secondhand sellers, they're engaged in the process. And when you have engagement as a consumer, that is where that link is to sustainability, because it's here. It's not out of sight, out of mind, it's in your mind.
Interesting.
And so that's what we actually do. And I'll bring it into the education aspect, because 10 years ago, my husband and I constructed this. He comes from UNECE background. He worked at UNECE. I come from human rights. We constructed it so as we can educate people on slow fashion. We talk to the people in the shop. I style them. I explain how to create a wardrobe, how to mend things, and how it fits. The reason why fast fashion is so popular is because you can choose things that don't fit and throw it away. We explain to people how to make things fit.
You can make mistakes in choosing.
Yeah, and so that's sustainability is, my last comment is that it really needs to come down to more the small aspect. And particularly with secondhand is a warning to everybody. No one's talking about this. It's saturated. The secondhand market is saturated. There are more sellers than buyers, so we have to be very careful for the sustainability aspect of that as well.
Again, we are on time. We go back to 1 minute each for the final question. I started by Gigi. I wanted to ask you two questions, but now I ask only one because the previous one I have already asked it. And we start by you. What's the most challenging practice or pattern in the fashion industry that should be changed, in your opinion, to achieve sustainability? There are many things, but what's the one that you would point out? You have 1 minute. Go straight away to that.
I have four.
No, just one.
But they're all linked. I think the social aspect of the business needs to be considered when we have 50 million in slave labor. A lot of that is in the fashion industry. The sale and discount culture in the fashion industry needs to be stopped. And I think the big brands can help in doing that because it devalues for the business and for the consumer. The barriers to small, medium enterprises, we provide that in our shop because financially it's not possible for a lot of ethical businesses to enter into market.
And
Barriers
the fourth.
to market. And the fourth, the consumer. Our delightful consumer, which is us as well, we are a bit too demanding. And I think we need to understand that we can't just have everything we want all the time. And we need to really concentrate on bringing value back into aspects.